India achieves the landmark of more than 10 lakh recoveries from COVID-19 as the efforts to contain the spread of the virus bear fruits. The Health Ministry says that this is an occasion to stand up and applaud our doctors, nurses and all the frontline healthcare workers, and it is their sheer dedication to duty and the selfless sacrifice which has made such a tremendous recovery of COVID-19 patients a reality. The case fatality rate further improves to come down at 2.21%. The Home Affairs Ministry issues Unlock 3 guidelines. The lockdown in containment zones extended to 31st of August. The night curfew ends across the country. Yoga institutes and gymnasium to open from the 5th of August. Educational institutions, metro and the cinema halls to remain closed. Prime Minister Modi and the Prime Minister of Mauritius, Pravin Jagannath, to jointly inaugurate the new Supreme Court building of Mauritius via video conferencing today. Constructed with Indian grant assistance, the new building project is one of the 5 projects being implemented under special economic package of $353 million extended by India to Mauritius in 2016. Union Cabinet approves the new Education Policy 2020 aimed at universalization of the education from preschool to secondary level. New 5+3+3+4 school curriculum proposed. Higher education curriculum to have flexibility of the subjects with promoting multilingualism in both the schools and higher education. Teaching up to at least grade 5 to be in the mother tongue and regional language. Beneficiary base of financial inclusion scheme, the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana crosses 40 crore, over 1,30,000 crore rupee balance in the accounts of beneficiaries. Scheme launched on 28th of August 2014 envisages universal access to banking facilities for every household, financial literacy, access to credit, insurance and pension. Hello and good morning. You're watching Doordarshan News with me, Nancy Kohli. Our top story: India has achieved the landmark in the fight against COVID-19 pandemic. In a tweet, the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare has said that India has achieved the landmark of more than 10 lakh recoveries from COVID-19. This is an occasion to stand up and applaud our doctors, nurses and all the frontline healthcare workers. It is their sheer dedication to duty and the selfless sacrifice which has made such a tremendous recovery of the COVID-19 patients a reality. Meanwhile, the active COVID-19 cases in India stands at 5,28,242, while 10,20,582 patients have been cured and discharged, and 34,968 deaths have been recorded so far. The recovery rate stands at 64.4% as of today, while the case fatality rate stands at 2.21%. And the Indian Council of Medical Research, the ICMR, has said that the total 1,81,90,382 COVID-19 samples have been tested so far. 4,46,642 samples were tested yesterday. And moving on now to our next big focus, as far as Unlock 3.0 is concerned, the Home Affairs Ministry has issued new guidelines for opening up of more activities in areas outside the containment zones. In Unlock 3, that will come into effect from the 1st of August, the process of phased reopening of activities has been extended further. The new guidelines are based on feedback received from the states and the union territories and extensive consultations held with the related central ministries and departments. Salient features of the new guidelines are the restrictions of the movements of individuals during night have been removed. Yoga institutes and gymnasiums will be allowed to open from the 5th of August, and in this regard, the standard operating procedure will be issued by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare for ensuring social distancing and to contain the spread of COVID-19. Independence Day functions will be allowed with social distancing and by following other approved health protocols. Schools, Colleges and coaching institutions will remain closed till 31st of August. The international air travel of passengers has been permitted in a limited manner under the Vande Bharat mission. Further opening up will take place in a calibrated manner. The activities not be permitted include the metro rail, cinema halls, swimming pools, entertainment parks, theatres, bars, auditoriums, assembly halls and similar places. The large congregations of any kind will also not be allowed. The vulnerable people, that's persons above 65 years of age, persons with comorbidities, pregnant women and children below the age of 10 are advised to stay at home except for meeting essential requirements and for health purposes. And moving on now to some other news, the 6th session of the 13th Nagaland Legislative Assembly has been deferred to 13th of August. The assembly that was to happen today has been deferred to 13th August as one MLA and 6 assembly staffers have tested COVID-19 positive. And Maharashtra government has extended the lockdown in the state till 31st of August as an emergency step to prevent and contain the spread of COVID-19. It has also launched the Mission Begin Again initiative, under which the malls, the market complexes without theatres, food courts and restaurants will be operational between 9 in the morning and 7 in the evening from the 5th of August. The notification said that unrestricted movement will be allowed only for attending the place of work which are open and for medical reasons. Further, the movement of persons for purpose of non-essential activities shall be restricted within the neighborhood area limits with the mandatory precautions of wearing masks, social distancing and personal hygiene. With 9,211 new patients being detected, the number of COVID-19 cases in Maharashtra has reached 4,651,000. The state's death toll has, due to the pandemic, has gone up to 14,463, with 298 deaths recorded in the past 24 hours. While 7,478 patients were discharged from the hospitals, taking the number of recovered cases in the state to 2,39,755. Moving on now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the Mauritius Prime Minister Pravin Jagannath will jointly inaugurate the brand new Supreme Court building of Mauritius today via video link. The senior members of the judiciary from Mauritius and other dignitaries from both the countries will be present via video conferencing. The new Supreme Court building of Mauritius has been constructed with Indian grant assistance. The new Supreme Court building project is one of the 5 projects being implemented under the special economic package of $353 million extended by the Government of India to Mauritius in 2016. The project has been completed within schedule and below expected cost. The building is spread over an area of more than 4,700 square meters with over 10 floors and a built-up area of around 25,000 square meters. The building flaunts a modern design and green features with a focus on thermal and sound insulation and high energy efficiency. The new Supreme Court building is expected to become an important landmark in the city centre, symbolizing the strong bilateral partnership between the two countries. Over 40 crore beneficiaries banked so far under the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. According to the progress report filed on its portal, currently there is over 1,30,000 crore balance in the beneficiary accounts. 1.26 lakh bank mitras are also delivering branchless banking services in the sub-service areas, and many more are being employed. The National Mission for Financial Inclusion, the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, was launched on the 28th of August 2014 with an aim to expand the affordable access to financial services such as bank accounts, remittances, credit, insurance and pensions. Prime Minister Narendra Modi yesterday discussed the crucial role of the financial and the banking system of supporting growth with the banks and the NBFCs. They noted that small entrepreneurs, the self-help groups, farmers should be motivated to use the institutional credit to meet their credit needs and grow. Each bank needs to relook at its practices to ensure stable credit growth. The banks need to distinguish and identify the bankable proposals and ensure that they do not suffer because of the NPAs. The government is firmly behind the banking system. Banks should adopt fintech, digital documentation and move towards digital acquisition of the customers to increase credit penetration, the ease of customers, lower costs and reduce frauds. India has built a robust, low-cost infrastructure for digital transactions. Banks should actively promote RuPay and UPI amongst customers. The emergency credit line for the MSME, additional KCC cards, liquidity window for the NBFC and MFI is also reviewed. Significant progress has been made, but banks need to be proactive to ensure the credit support reaches them in a timely manner during this period of crisis. Now, making way for large-scale and transformational reforms in both school and higher education sectors, the Union Cabinet had yesterday approved the National Education Policy 2020. The new policy revolves around the objective of universalization of education from preschool to the secondary level. The main emphasis is being made on early childhood care and education, as per which the 10+2 structure of the school curricula is to be replaced by a 5+3+3+4 curricular structure. The new system will have 12 years of schooling with 3 years of Anganwadi or preschooling. The policy has emphasized mother tongue or local language or regional language as the medium of instruction at least till grade 5, but preferably till grade 8 and beyond. The school curricula and the method and the practice of teaching will aim for holistic development of the learners. This will be done by equipping students with the key 21st century skills, reduction in the curricular content to enhance essential learning and critical thinking, and greater focus on experiential learning. Vocational education will also start in schools from the 6th grade and will include internships. A new and comprehensive national curricular framework for school education 2021 will be developed by the NCERT. The policy 2020 aims to ensure 100% gross enrollment ratio in the school education by 2030. The Cabinet has also approved changing the name of the HRD Ministry to Education Ministry. At least 3.5 crore new seats will be added to higher educational institutions. Besides that, a single regulator for higher education institutions, multiple entry and exit options in degree courses, discontinuation of the MPhil programs, low-stakes board examinations, common entrance examinations for universities are among the other highlights of the new National Education Policy 2020.
देश के लगभग 1000 से भी अधिक विश्वविद्यालय, 45,000 से भी अधिक डिग्री कॉलेज, 15 लाख से भी अधिक स्कूल, 1 करोड़ 9 लाख से भी अधिक अध्यापक और कुल अमेरिका की जितनी आबादी नहीं है उससे भी अधिक 33 करोड़ से भी अधिक छात्र और छात्राओं को आज के इस ऐतिहासिक दिन पर बधाई देना चाहता हूं, शुभकामना देना चाहता हूं। मुझे भरोसा है कि जो ये हमारी शिक्षा नीति है, ज्ञान, विज्ञान, अनुसंधान, नवाचार, प्रौद्योगिकी से युक्त, संस्कार क्षम, मूल्य परक, हर क्षेत्र में हर परिस्थिति का मुकाबला करने वाली, पूरी दुनिया के लिए भारत में ज्ञान की महाशक्ति के रूप में उभर करके आएगी।
And Prime Minister Modi has wholeheartedly welcomed the approval of the National Education Policy 2020. In a series of tweets, he has termed the National Education Policy as long due and much awaited reform in the education sector that will transform the millions of lives in the times to come. The National Education Policy 2020 is based on the pillars of access, equity, quality, affordability, accountability. In this era of knowledge where learning, research and innovation are important, the National Education Policy will transform India into a vibrant knowledge hub. He's also said that the National Education Policy 2020 gives utmost importance towards ensuring universal access to school education. There is emphasis on aspects such as better infrastructure, innovative education centers to bring back dropouts into the mainstream, facilitating multiple pathways to learning among others. The Prime Minister stressed that the framing of the National Education Policy 2020 will be remembered as a shining example of participative governance. I thank all those who have worked hard in the formulation of the National Education Policy 2020. May education brighten our nation and lead it to prosperity." Unquote. And Union Home Minister Amit Shah has also welcomed the National Education Policy 2020. The Home Minister has tweeted, and I quote, "Education is the foundation of any nation, and for the last 34 years, India was in dire need of such a futuristic policy. I express my gratitude to Prime Minister Modi and Dr. Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank on this landmark policy decision, which will play an unprecedented role in the building of a new India. The focus on different aspects will lead to the overall development of the children across the country." The National Education Policy 2020 will also have the provision of academic credit bank, increased investment in education system, internationalization of education, the special education zone for disadvantaged regions, upgradation of the KGBVs to 12th grade, and an increased focus on Lok Vidya and the use of technology, unquote. And shifting our focus now to the flood situation in Assam, which has seen a further improvement there in the state. The number of affected districts still remains at 21 though, and 3 more deaths were reported yesterday, taking the death toll to 107. The population affected by the flood water has come down to over 16.5 lakh, while the number of villages affected by the floods is 1,536 under 54 revenue circles. Golpara remains the worst affected district with over 4 lakh people affected. The number of relief camps is 208, where 37,012 people are taking shelter. 36 people have been evacuated by the NDRF and the SDRF yesterday. There is also a bit of relief for the animals at the Kaziranga National Park. The flood water has reduced and now 65% of the park is underwater. So far, 142 animals have died and 165 are being rescued in the 4th wave of floods in Assam. The Assam Chief Minister Sarbanand Sonowal visited the Dhemaji district, where he distributed relief material to the flood-affected people and interacted with them. He also took stock of the ongoing reconstruction work of the embankments in the Kumtia River. But in Bihar, the grim situation still continues as there is no let-up in the flood fury. The flood water has submerged more areas. A population of over 38 lakhs spread over 102 blocks and 901 block in 12 districts is facing the wrath of floods. The flood situation has worsened in East Champaran, where the flood waters have spread in 145 panchayats of 17 blocks. The flood intensity is also high in Sitamarhi, Muzaffarpur and Darbhanga. So far, over 3 lakh people have been evacuated from the marooned areas. 19 relief camps are functional in the affected areas. 26 teams of the SDRF and the NDRF are engaged in rescue and relief work. Moderate to heavy rainfall occurred in the catchment areas of major rivers during the past 24 hours. The water level of several rivers including Gandak, Kosi, Bagmati and Mahananda is still above the danger mark at many places. An update now on the Rajasthan situation there. The Rajasthan Assembly will be convened on the 14th of August. Governor Kalraj Mishra in his order has directed that all the measures should be taken during the conduct of the Assembly session as per the guidelines issued to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Meanwhile, the Rajasthan Assembly Speaker C.P. Joshi had moved the Supreme Court challenging the State High Court's 24th of July order, asking him to maintain status quo on the question of the disqualification of the 19 rebel Congress MLAs of the Sachin pilot camp. He said the High Court acted in gross judicial indiscipline and that the order was a direct intrusion into the Speaker's domain. 26th of June 2020 became a historic day for displaced people in Jammu and Kashmir when they received the domicile certificates following abrogation of Article 370 last year. Many such people had even given up hope, but they have finally seen a new dawn. Here's a report. The story of these displaced people in Jammu and Kashmir is heart-wrenching. At the time of partition, lakhs of refugees took refuge in different parts of the country and started a new life. However, the fate betrayed those who came to Jammu from Mirpur, Muzaffarabad, Kotli and West Pakistan. These people, while risking their lives from across the border, camped in Jammu and its adjoining areas. Later, many people took refuge in Delhi and nearby areas, while many others preferred to stay back in Jammu. 3 generations lived in refugee camps without their own roof over their heads. They did not get any education and developmental opportunities. Members of the Valmiki Samaj, the refugees from Pakistan and the Gurkha Jawans were deprived of their citizenship rights despite living in Jammu and Kashmir for years. Neither their children got any education nor any government job. However, they are now eligible for all the basic citizen rights after getting domicile certificates.
पब्लिक को घर घर में सर्टिफिकेट देने की कोशिश की है। उसी सिलसिले में आज हमने 2 पंचायतें कवर की हैं, एक प्राणू और रेवाड़ा। मैक्सिमम हमने फर्स्ट स्टेप्स में जो कवरेज की है वो स्टूडेंट्स को मद्देनज़र रखा है कि पहले स्टेप में हम स्टूडेंट्स को देंगे।
हम डिस्ट्रिक्ट एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के बहुत ही ज़्यादा शुक्रगुजार हैं कि उन्होंने एक एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव कैंप का यहाँ पे इनेकाद किया, जिसकी वजह से यहाँ पे फास्ट ट्रैक बेसिस पे हमें यहाँ ये डोमिसाइल सर्टिफिकेट इशू हो रहे हैं और ख़ास तौर पे स्टूडेंट्स को इसको ज़्यादा फ़ायदा होगा क्योंकि जो नया डोमिसाइल लॉ है उसमें जो जॉब्स में रिजर्वेशन है तो उसको लेके जो नई पोस्ट्स वगैरह एडवर्टाइज करेगी जो यूनियन टेरिटरी एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन जो है जम्मू कश्मीर की जो पोस्ट एडवर्टाइज करेगी तो यहाँ की जो अनएम्प्लॉयड यूथ है उनके लिए ख़ास तौर पे एक बहुत ही ज़्यादा फ़ायदेमंद होगा।
The day 5th of August has turned out to be a day of justice for thousands of such people living in Jammu and Kashmir. The members of the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes of the country achieved considerable progress after availing the benefits of the reservation. However, the plight of such refugee people remained the same in Jammu and Kashmir. The fate of thousands of such people changed in 1 year after government scrapped the Article 370 and Article 35A of the Indian Constitution on the 5th of August 2019. Finally, these people have got their own identity. Bureau Report, DD India. Moving on now, in the fight against the spread of COVID-19, the Central Railway Mumbai Division has made a health assistant robot, that's Rakshak, which is a fully in-house robot, has been handed over to Bharat Ratna Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Memorial Hospital in Baikala at the Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Terminus in Mumbai. Take a look.
This medical assistance robot is ergonomically designed to achieve smooth interaction between doctor and patients remotely. The robot can measure health parameters like temperature, pulse, oxygen percentage and dispenses sanitizer automatically. It has infrared sensors. Rakshak can deliver medicine and food to patients and has a two-way video communication between doctor and patient. It can move in all directions on level surface with a range of remote operation up to 150 meters. According to Central Railway, with a full charged battery, the robot can work 6 hours continuously and carry up to 10 kg weight in its tray. It runs on Wi-Fi and hence no mobile data is required and operated with Android mobile application. The video and snapshots of patients can also be downloaded via the robot. Bureau Report, DD India.
After Prime Minister Modi's call to turn crisis into opportunity, the businesses in Bihar's far-flung areas are facilitating work from home. The women in Vaishali district of Bihar have done such an experiment which is gaining success. Here's how.
Women and youth in Vaishali in Bihar have turned the corona crisis into an opportunity. The youth of the district have started making rakhis at home during lockdown.
पहले चाइना में बनता था ना, इस बार इंडिया में बन रहा है और इससे इंडिया में बहुत सारा को रोजगार भी मिल गया.
These women and youth are not only earning livelihood and providing employment to others, but are also sidelining Chinese products and promoting country-made products. This Raksha Bandhan will see locally made rakhis instead of Chinese rakhis.
इस बार मैंने सोचा कि मैं खुद से मैन्युफैक्चरिंग का काम शुरू करूं और मैं काम कर रहा हूँ।
अभी जो चाइना से इंपोर्ट होने लगा उस समय बहुत सारी हम लोगों का देश का पैसा भी उधर जाता था, जो अभी कोरोना काल के वजह से एक्सपोर्ट इंपोर्ट बंद है, इसलिए अभी हम लोग अपने ही यहाँ बनवा करके काफी सारे बच्चों को रोजगार भी दे रहे हैं।
Ironically, Chinese products are dominating the Indian markets not only during Raksha Bandhan but also during other festivals. This had led to negative impact on local handicrafts and employment opportunities for the locals. After Prime Minister Narendra Modi's clarion call of vocal for local, people are now looking to produce and demand locally made products. With the help of youth and women, this initiative has started reaping results. Jivika Dadiyan have also got associated with this at many places. Jivika is rural livelihood mission in Bihar.
हमें आर्थिक परेशानी हो रहा था लॉकडाउन की वजह से और मुझे पसंद नहीं है, इसके लिए मैं यह राखी बना के और मेरा राखी जीविका द्वारा ग्रामीण बाजार में जाता है। जीविका ग्रामीण बाजार में मेरा राखी सेल होता है।
Business of Rakis will continue till Raksha Bandhan, but India is a country full of festivals and there will be ample opportunities available in the future. What is important is to identify the opportunity and make good use of it. With inputs from Ratan Kumar, Salman Haidar's report, DD News, Patna.
The Indian High Commissioner to Bangladesh Riva Ganguly has handed over 2 school buses to Nalanda Uccho Bidyalaya in a virtual ceremony yesterday in Dhaka. The Nalanda Uccho Bidyalaya is a school run by China devoted to preservation and the promotion of cultural heritage of Bangladesh. Speaking on the occasion, the High Commissioner lauded the China for keeping Bangladesh's Bengali heritage alive through its dedication and hard work. She commended it for its activities over the last few decades in promoting and training generations of artists. And switching gears now, once again taking a look at the updates from around the world on COVID-19, which has claimed the lives of over 6.69 lakh people worldwide, while more than 1.71 crore have been confirmed for having the virus so far. More than 1 crore people have recovered worldwide. The US and Brazil remain the worst affected in terms of COVID-19 infections and fatalities. The US has so far recorded over 45.5 lakh cases and over 1.53 lakh deaths, while Brazil has crossed the 25 lakh mark and recorded over 25.5 lakh infections, with the death toll surging past 90,000 deaths. And talking of the death toll worldwide, the US and Brazil are followed by the UK with over 45,878 fatalities, further followed by Mexico and Italy. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of the news, but news and updates will continue here on Doordarshan News and DD India. For the moment, thanks for being with us.